In the big leagues, Tony don't miss me. Ballin' like Houston, ayy, feeling like Whitney. I need a bag, bruh, send it through quickly. I'm making his dog, like I'm in the big leagues. Told him that I gotta go, dog. I'm riding the road, y'all. I think that I'm back in my bag now.
Welcome, football fans, USFL fans, but most importantly, Houston Gamblers fans, to another episode of Gamblers Table Talk with Ace. I'm Ace. You can find me, all my videos, and all of the USFL Network videos over on the USFL Network YouTube page. We are doing a 1,000 subscriber giveaway. Once we hit 1,000 subscribers, we are going to be giving away to one of our random subscribers a signed Cavante Turpin USFL MVP Cowboys jersey. So subscribe. But joining me today, I am very, very excited about this one, is the Houston Gamblers quarterback, Terry Wilson. Terry, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. I cannot complain, man. How you doing?
Dude, I am doing fantastic. I've been wanting this interview for a long time. For some reason, it's harder to get quarterbacks on for interviews. I'm not sure why. Just everybody in our network, we have a rep who covers each team, and quarterbacks are just hard to nail down. Unless they're like fresh out of college or something. I don't know. We were talking before the show about kind of the swagger, the confidence you have to have as a quarterback. And maybe part of that, you don't need the interview, right? You show it on the field. I get that. I get that. So I never was like judging it, but I was always like, man, so getting a quarterback is very, very exciting. And I've seen you've been putting in that work in this offseason. How's that been?
It's been great, man. It's a bit weird trying to get used to the spring season and stuff like that. But always when you're out there, on the field throwing or, doing weightlifting or running, it always chambers you back into that mode of, football's about to, it's about to be back and you got to get ready. And so I've been enjoying it, man. I've been really, honing in on, some specific things that I need to correct mechanically. And just, I feel really good, man. I feel really, really healthy and ready to get on the field and showcase what I can do.
Well, your arm is looking fantastic. You're posting a lot of videos on Instagram stories and stuff. I shamelessly stole a few and shared them on YouTube to promote the Gamblers, promote you. I made sure to put your Instagram handle on there so everybody could go follow you.
Cool.
But when you threw the ball, I mean, it is a straight circle. You are throwing dimes out there. And I get it. I also like to work out without a shirt on. So, the videos are just awesome, dude. Way to go. I love it.
Appreciate it, man.
You're looking great. You're staying in shape and staying football ready. And like you said, it's a spring season. So that's a little weird. Is it usually once you hit Christmas and stuff, football is winding down? Is it kind of your body just feels out of cycle? What is that like?
Yeah, man. Like right after the season, if you make it, for my instance, coming out of college, if you make it to a bowl game or not, I was going straight to NFL draft prep. So I was in California training with my quarterback coach in January, about mid-January. So, it's kind of as a wind down type of part of the year. But for me, I'm looking at it like it's work. I got to put it in and stay in shape. So I kind of enjoy it, man. But it definitely did take some time to get used to. But it's not bad at all, man. It's not bad at all. It's a part of the game, so I enjoy it.
Well, one of the nicer parts that I realized last season, because I wasn't super spring football until the USFL came around and then I jumped on it, but was that the games are all hot. It's not like the normal NFL college season where once you're getting into the later part of the season, there's more injuries because it's getting cold. If you're not in a dome, I mean, even out here, I'm in Waco, Texas, those games get really cold. By halftime, my fiance's like, hey, we should go,
Yeah.
So the spring games, I mean, I was sweating at the USFL championship. So it's kind of the absolute opposite weather-wise, which I feel would also be a little weird trying to get ready for a season when it's cold.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, man, I feel like everybody would want to play, football in great weather conditions. Me, I don't mind it. I'm all for it. It doesn't matter if it's 30 degrees or 80 degrees, I'm all for it. So it is pretty cool to be able to have some warm weather though and be able to enjoy the football and not have to really worry about all the injuries and making sure your body's stretched and, just those type of deals that go along with the regular football season. But it's not bad, man. I'm looking forward to it actually, just to get out there, get a good sweat in and have fun.
Oh yeah, and I love that you say you don't care if it's 80, you don't care if it's 30, and I get because you love the game of football, which leads me to my next question. Back when you were at Dell City High School in Oklahoma City, you were a young guy just getting into football. What made you fall in love with the game? Like, was it high school? Was it Pee Wee? Pop Warner? At what point did you realize this is what I want to do for the rest of my life?
Yeah. Yeah, it started with Pee Wee. Started
Really?
playing at the age of 5, man. And my mom didn't want me to play. She thought it was too much contact because it wasn't tag or flag football. It was just straight like throw them in pads, throw them in a helmet, let them run around. So
Mhm.
it was that type of deal. And it really started from there, man. I just knew like football was it. Like I loved basketball, but I would go hand in hand with it, and football always came out on top. So um, I got to Dale City, man, and really started to see like the outcome of the work that putting in. It was a whole bunch of raw talent. It was a lot of raw talent that I was putting out there on film. Um, but once I started to get the recognition and being able to work my game and see where this could take me, I mean, I fell in love with it even more. Um, so that's kind of how that began.
Dude, and I mean it doesn't hurt to be 6'3". Trust me, I wish I was. At what point in high school did you have your growth spurt? Because I falling in love with it in Pee Wee, that's young. That's
Yeah.
I mean, to be able to realize this is what I want to do, this is it that early, that's a blessing because then you're getting started before a lot of people. But at what point did you hit that 6'3" and people were like, this guy's going, D1?
Um, I want to say it was probably my freshman year, going into my sophomore year. I want to say, well, I lied about that. I was about 6'1" my freshman year. Sophomore year, probably about 6'2" ish. Junior year, that's when I really went into like I was like 6'3", like a solid 6'3". Um, but yeah, man, I'd say probably about the freshman year, sophomore year, that's when I really started to make that jump. Growth wise, I was struggling trying to keep my weight up. Um, I was doing all types of stuff, man. Protein shakes and everything, man. Just trying to stuff my face, trying to gain some weight. But no, that definitely came later down the road. But I'd say it was my sophomore year is when I really started to sprout a little bit.
I like that. My brother's best friend, he was an offensive lineman in our high school, and he was the same as you. Got up to 6'3", could not put on weight. In
Yeah.
his school locker, not his football locker, his school locker, he would keep a jar of peanut butter, and between every class, he'd just take a big scoop and eat it.
Oh
So
wow.
that is the first thing I imagined when you said you were trying to put on weight was you just scooping peanut butter in the hallways of your high school.
I don't know. I don't
But
think I could do that, man. I don't think I could keep it in the locker,
I
man.
I definitely could not either. People start smelling it. They're like, "What? Someone has PB and J every single day." But from there, you get a lot of hype. Everybody is like, "This guy's going D1. He wants to go." Everybody's paying attention. You commit to Nebraska. Decide no, Oregon, and you go there and you redshirt, so you don't play, and then you end up going JUCO afterwards because I read that it's because Scott Frost left. But I'm wondering from you, you personally, what was the reason that you left Oregon and decided to go the JUCO route and then move to another school?
Well, yeah. I mean, looking back at it now, and being in that process, you learn a lot of things that you don't really know about, college football. So Coach Frost, taking the job at UCF definitely played a big, um, it was a big factor on me leaving. But I still wanted to be at Oregon. I still wanted to go to the school. I wanted to, be a part of the team and everything. So I just, I stuck it out. And I was Coach Yost was our offensive coordinator, and he's a great guy, great coach. Just things didn't turn out right, man. I redshirted. I wanted to play ball, and I felt like it was just best for me to, you know, move around and explore some options. I had no idea I was going to go JUCO. That was not in the plan at all. It was just something that happened, and I remember saying that I was leaving Oregon, and the next morning I wake up to like, I'm not lying about this, about 50 messages from all types of different schools and JUCOs and
Dang.
Big 12 teams and all types of stuff, man. Um, only reason why I didn't go, to another D1 is because I'd have to sit out a year. And like I said,
Hmm.
I wanted to play. I wanted to play some ball. I needed to get some film, and start putting some film out there so the coaches could see me, and know that I was, still in shape and everything, and I'm still capable of balling out. And so that was really how that planned out, and that was my idea, man. I really just wanted to get some film out, and that's how that came along.
And film you got, because down at Garden City, you were the talk of the town down there, and you were on a lot of the highlights that you watch. People, the announcers were saying that you were one of the premier dual threat quarterbacks in the nation. That's high praise. It's JUCO, but still to go out there and to just head and shoulders show above everybody else. Not to say that there's not great athletes out there, but you just showed out and you were great. And then you moved on to Kentucky, where you said there were a lot of things to learn in college football. It looked like you learned them by the time you got to Kentucky. Because man, that was impressive. So what was it like in JUCO for a year? And then what was the reason that you decided Kentucky? I'm gonna go be a Wildcat.
Oh man, JUCO ball was definitely tough, man. And I salute anybody that's going through it, or who has been, already been through it. I mean, it's tough, man. You're isolated. Um, you're far, far, far away from any big population cities, anything. You're just far away, man, and it's just a struggle, man. Like, you don't really have all the things that you need nutritionally. You know, school is school. Nothing's wrong with the school part about it. Um, but it's really intense. It's like a boot camp, to be honest. That's how I look at it, man. It's like a
Really?
boot camp. Um, I can't speak on everybody else's, but I can speak on ours. At Garden City, it was tough, man, and it's not for everybody. And so my mindset was really just to keep my head down and keep working, and everything else will take care of itself. As soon as I make it to the season, I'll be just fine. I just got to make it to the season, and start winning some games, start putting some film out there, so this process can speed up some. But it was tough. I'm not gonna lie. But once I started, communicating with coaches, and taking visits, uh, it wasn't as bad, man. It was only 6 months, so I at first I didn't like it, but I enjoyed it. It taught me a lot. And it meant a lot to me, to be honest, and it showed me, that I can go through any tough things and get through it. So, it was definitely a grind, man.
Yeah, I think a lot of people's eyes were open to the reality of JUCO football and what it looks like, especially through the Last Chance U documentary, where they talked about Garden City a lot, actually. I was wondering, was there any overlap with the show and maybe your highlights? Did you show up on any of those episodes?
Yeah, I think I was on. I want to say it was season 2, when we played Independence. I think it was the first
Hmm.
time Independence played Garden City, and it was a tight game. It was a close game, and it came down to the last drive, and it was one of those things like, it was about 2 minutes left in the game, and we're trying to drive down the field, and things aren't going, exactly how you want them to. I threw a ball up. I think I threw a fade ball. It got tipped, incomplete pass. The game was over. So it was definitely tough to watch on Netflix, and everybody was hitting me up, telling me about it. Like, man, you weren't supposed to lose to them, all this stuff. But it was cool. But I'm glad that's behind me. It's
Yes.
good. It's good for the memories, but I'm glad it's behind me, man. And I'm just looking forward to making more memories and winning more football games.
Well, I am sorry to bring up that. I didn't realize that it was a loss. I knew that when I saw Garden City, I recognized it, and I kind of recognized the dreads, to be completely honest. So I was like, pretty sure I've seen that guy play, other
Yeah.
than the deep dives I've done into your highlights at Kentucky, which you got out of JUCO, got away from the grind, the boot camp, and you went. And my favorite part about your highlights at Kentucky is that every single highlight is SEC. Like you didn't put any highlights from, well, I don't know if you specifically made your video, but there's no highlights from, the out of conference games or anything. This is me playing against the best talent in college football. And that is impressive. And that says a lot about you. What was it like moving up from JUCO to Division One SEC football and wearing the pretty sweet chrome helmets at Kentucky that y'all had?
Man, it was surreal. And looking back at it, man, when I was headed into Kentucky, it was really a point like okay, this is where I'm gonna be at, and this is where I'm gonna graduate at. This is this is it. Like this is where I'm gonna stay at. I done did all the transferring and moving around the country. So I was excited, man. I'm like, this is the place. Like I want to help this team. I want to do things that haven't been done here before. I want to break records. I just want to have fun at Kentucky. Like I haven't heard anybody doing anything like that at Kentucky. So
Not wrong.
that was really the main factor in my mindset going to Kentucky, man. Um, and by the way, the highlights that you spoke on the highlights, man, there's a lot of good plays like that were left out. Like I don't know who made them, but there's like a lot of good like crazy plays that like they left out on there. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to reach out to somebody and make sure they can put those on there. But no, man, it was really fun, man. I enjoyed my time at Kentucky.
Well, I don't know if you saw it, Terry, but I've been making some YouTube videos. And if you want to send those my way, I will get them out. I will make sure, at the very least, Gamblers
Okay.
fans see your crazy plays. But you spoke on wanting to go and break records, do things that people had not done at Kentucky, which you did a couple of those things, and it's ridiculous. You went and you led Kentucky to its first 10-win season since 1977. My parents were 7 years old the last time that they had a 10-win season, and you came in and did it your first year there. That is just wildly impressive. And you're also the only player from Kentucky to ever have over 3,000 passing yards and 1,000 rushing yards in their career. You did it, man. You said you wanted to go do that, and you did. What did it feel like accomplishing that, going to a school after the transferring, after the adversity, after the grind of JUCO? What did it feel like to really go and just do what you had set out to do in Division I football?
Man, it felt really good, to be honest. Still knowing that there was a lot left that, could have been out there on the field and everything, going back and watching a lot of film and just seeing things that I could have done better. I was still learning as well. My first season in the SEC, man, like I'm a redshirt sophomore, and I'm still trying to learn. I'm still trying to get accustomed to the speed of everything. So there was a lot of growing pains that came along with that. But I don't have any regrets, man. Looking back at it, I gave it everything that I had, and for my teammates, that's number one. Like that's really why I go all out for them and show them that I'm gonna put this team on my shoulders. And if it's 4th and 1, you need me to run it right down the middle, I'll run it right down the middle. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna get the first down. It's just that type of mindset that we had, and it was contagious. So um, it was, man. It was, like I said, it was just surreal, man. It was like it was a magical year that we had. Everybody wanted to win. The guys were excited. So I think that's just really, it rubbed off on me. I was coming from JUCO, so I had a lot to prove, and I just wanted to showcase and show everybody that Kentucky is a football school, um, and so on and so on.
Man, you made it a football school. You went there, and that's some just entertaining football. Just watching you play was ridiculous. But then the pandemic happened. You had an injury. You decided to move on to New Mexico. What was kind of the key thing that made you realize, I'm going to go over there and play your last season as a Lobo?
Yeah, man, it was definitely a tough decision. And at Kentucky, my quarterback coach and my OC getting fired and leaving, played a big deal in that as well. Um, it wasn't anything like I just wanted to leave Kentucky because I was, tired of Kentucky or anything like that. It was, that's my alma mater, and that's my school, and it'll always be my school, and I always root them on. But how I got in contact with New Mexico, my high school football coach, his son is the OC at New Mexico, and so
Oh.
once I had gotten to the transfer portal, he was the first one to really reach out to me and talk to me, and he was just wondering what was going on, and um, I wanted him to know that I wanted to throw the ball, like I wanted to be thrown for 400 yards. It's just something that you rarely don't see in the SEC that much. The SEC, you're gonna have those games that you throw for 300 or 350 or 250. It's just you'll have those games, but it's solely based on running the ball, and you have to
Mhm.
have a good running game, especially in the SEC. So at Kentucky, we were mainly a good ground and pound team and play action and take a shot. And I just really wanted to spread the ball out and aerate it and go to New Mexico and showcase that my arm talent and be able to showcase that type of side of me as well. Um, Everybody knows that I can tuck the ball down and run, but the thing is, I look at myself as a passer first. I
Mhm.
just so happen to have some wheels on me. Um, but that was really the factor on me going to New Mexico. I was familiar with Derek Wareham, the OC at New Mexico. I was really familiar with him. I've known him since my freshman year of high school. So uh, that's really the main factor on how I ended up at New Mexico.
I mean, there's not that much footage out there. Consider stuff so that I can get a good view of your highlights out there for New Mexico because I know you played a decent amount of games over there, but 7 games and there's only like 6 plays online. I really wanted to see it because that's the
Yeah,
point. Everybody thinks, the running quarterback super exciting, but I know that you consider yourself NFL caliber and that you want to prove that you can throw the ball. So I love hearing that you went to New Mexico with that specifically in mind. And I really want to see that. I
oh
know
yeah,
that we will get to see it here in a couple weeks, but I would love to see that now in anticipation for it. My gosh. All right. But from there, you go on to Dallas's rookie minicamp. Sadly, they don't take you, but there was a man there named Bob Morris who noticed you and thought this guy is a Houston gambler. And he said some nice things about you, and I'm going to play him right now if that's cool.
let's hear it.
Nobody knows about Terry Wilson. Terry Wilson's a really good player.
He's
He was in
athlete.
Dallas's mini camp, or not, I'm sorry, Denver's rookie mini camp a year ago, and then he signed with us. Was with us for the last 5 weeks. Very good player at Kentucky before he transferred to New Mexico.
All right. So he said Denver minicamp. That is incorrect. You were at Dallas, but the fact that he knew all of that off the top of his head without looking at notes is pretty impressive. And it means that you made an impact on a guy who has literally been looking at thousands of players this offseason. So, what was it like when you first were reached out about the USFL? They noticed you at Dallas's minicamp. I believe that meant that the Gamblers had your playing rights because you were at that minicamp, and that's where Bob was scouting. But what was the process like to get you into the USFL?
Um, it was pretty easy. My agent was really talking. I think he was talking with Bob. And it was one day that my agent just texted me and he was telling me Coach Sumlin's gonna call you. And so Coach Sumlin had called me, and I had spoke with Sumlin. This was literally like during like the season, so there was a whole bunch of stuff going on. I had like 4 weeks left in the season, so I spoke with Sumlin. He said he wanted me to come out there, um, and we got that rolling, man. It was really fast, to be honest. I didn't have any time to even think on it. I was down as soon as I got the news, so. Um, I'm just really I'm grateful and thankful that Bob was down at Dallas and got to see me out there. And um, Bob's a great guy. I like Bob, and I appreciate all the stuff he does for us. So that's pretty awesome. I didn't know Bob was there.
Yes, he was at. So there's 8 GMs in the league, 32 teams in the NFL. So each GM took 4 teams, and they went to those rookie mini camps and part of training camp to go scout. So he did Dallas, Houston, Las Vegas, and Arizona. So he did those 4. And I think he started with Dallas. So he was down there for rookie minicamp. And that's why he saw you and your cannon arm. So, he's been doing this. He said on the show, I absolutely love Bob. That's the second time he's been on my show. Oh, it's amazing. I tell him he's got my dream job. But that man was in the NFL for 16 years. He's been a scout or GM in every single spring league that has existed. That man knows ball, and he knows how to scout and when he sees talent. So the fact that he specifically brought you up, I didn't ask about you in the show. I was going to, but he brought you up first. So the fact that he brought you up specifically, I like your chances, and I think the camp's going to be really fun. So speaking of, what was the 4 games you were with the Gamblers like, and are you excited for camp coming up next, 9 days from now?
Yeah. The 4 weeks, man, it was like
Probably fast.
yeah, it was really fast, but at the same time, I was just trying to get used to it, man. I was going into a hotel. I didn't know that it was going to be every team in the hotel. It just took some adjusting to get to, but after the first week, man, I was in it. Like I was like, dude, I wish I was out here from week 1. Like I just wanted to get on the field so bad, but man, I'm really excited for camp. Like this is something I've been looking forward to since I left Birmingham last year. Like I'm just excited, man. I'm a ball player. I love to win football games. I love to be around the team. Those are the biggest things to me, man. I'm a team guy. Like I love to be around players and get to meet new players and get to hear their stories because everybody has so many different stories. So
Oh yeah.
I'm definitely ready. I'm locked in and I'm ready to go have some fun, man. At the end of the day, we're blessed to be able to still be able to play this game for a living. So um, I'm excited and I can't wait, man. That's all I can say about it, really.
I love that you touched on everybody has a bunch of different stories, because for me, that's basically where I'm making my not living. This is a hobby, but that's where I come in, and I love hearing about all the stories. Every different player has their own story, and it's incredibly interesting. And to see that you, from a player's perspective, also have an appreciation for that, that says a lot about you, just as a teammate, but also as a player. But 4 weeks, you were only there for 4 weeks. Did you get to know Kenji well? Like, are you excited to go compete against him? I know it was really fast, but as of right now, it seems that you two are the top 2. You're the returners, and then Montel's going to come in, but he was in the league most of last year, kind of your position, coming in late, like same kind of thing for the Stallions. But now he's coming over.
Yeah.
So are you excited about that in the competition?
Oh yeah. I did get a good feel for Kenzie. He's a good guy. It went so fast, man. It was really like a blink of an eye. But for Montel coming in as well, I'm really excited to be able to have a quarterback room like that and be able to compete and push each other every day. I think it's going to be really, really fun to watch and see how everything turns out. So uh, it's going to be fun, man. Like I said, we're meeting every day, making sure that we're locked in on the playbook and making sure other guys are locked in on the playbook. So by the time we touch down in Memphis, everybody knows, they know what we're supposed to be doing, how to line up. So when it's time to have walkthrough, and practice, we can, try to start to pick up the momentum. But it's been great, man. I'm just ready to get down there and get to, competing.
I love it. I am very excited for the competition. There's a couple different camp battles that I'm really excited about. One being the defensive backs, the other being the offensive line, the guys protecting you, and specifically the quarterbacks, because this is a quarterback room that everybody is just down on. People are sleeping on y'all. And for me as a Gamblers rep, who's, talked to most of the players on this team, it's upsetting because I don't like when people just don't respect what you guys are doing. You guys have great tape. And also the only team to beat the Birmingham Stallions. Come on, man. That was really
Yeah,
cool. That was
yeah,
super fun. And
it's a
so,
good game.
oh, it was a great game. So, does that kind of put a chip on your shoulder? Like, do you see that stuff online that people are talking about the gamblers and they're like, when are they going to get a quarterback? All that stuff.
Man, to keep it honest with you, I'm really not on social media as much as I used to be. And like a lot of that has to go, it goes along with it, man, on just, if I get on social media, I don't want to read somebody's comment about what their opinion is and what they think of this and that. I'm like, dude, that stuff gets old. You get tired of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I really try to just chamber that out. Like I put the phone down. I don't even get on Instagram like that. I just downloaded the app back and to check some things out. But you know, it's a part of the game, man. It's always gonna be the chatter. It's always gonna be
Oh, yeah.
the people that love you, and um, it's a part of the game, man. It's what matters is what you do with it. Are you gonna let it affect you, or are you gonna go out there and showcase your talent and showcase what you can do under pressure? Are you gonna stay even keeled, or are you gonna be, all roller coaster like, emotionally? So it's a lot that goes into it, but for me, man, I stay off the internet. And as long as I'm like posting some clips or some things that you need to see. If it's not that, man, I'm staying off the internet. I'm really not trying to get into it. So that's just how I look at it.
Well, I'm glad you were on enough to see my message and for
I
us to
know,
get on
right?
here and do this. And trust me, I don't believe any of the chatter. I'm not listening to it. I'm trying to get away from it, but I got to post. This is what I do
Yeah, no doubt.
because I'm going to be laughing so hard come week 1 when the Gamblers put up 50 on the Panthers. And I'll be there. I'll be there watching. I'm going to be so happy because I'm going to be like, they just didn't know ball. They just didn't know.
It's
But
gonna be fun.
I got one more thing for you, and then we'll hit the end zone and get you out of here. How does that sound?
That sounds great.
All right. So we have a recurring segment on the show called the Rapid Incoming Breakdown, where I'm going to ask you 4 questions, not necessarily football related, and you just answer with the first thing that comes to mind. Sound good?
All right, let's do it.
All right. Question number 1: if there was a movie about your life, the Terry Wilson film, what famous actor would play you?
Denzel.
Denzel. I like that. Was boom. You had it immediately. I love it.
That's my favorite actor.
All right. Question number 2. This is a softball one. Who is your favorite superhero? Man, you're
Oh
thinking about
man,
this one longer than the movie one.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Batman.
Batman. I respect it. I love me some Batman. Question number 3. And this is my favorite one. What is your go-to song to work out to right now?
Man, to be honest, I really can't answer that. I have too many. I got too many songs
Oh,
that are just on repeat and shuffling and all that. So that one's gonna be hard, man. I don't know.
here, just the first song that comes to mind. It doesn't have to be your like go-to favorite one right now, but when I asked the question, what was the first thing
Mm,
that you were like, oh, that probably that.
man, it'd have to be some NBA young boy. Bring it out.
All right.
Yeah, I'd have to go with some NBA young boy. Get the juices flowing.
All right. I keep
Yeah.
saying I'm going to go through all my interviews and I'm going to get every single song and I'm going to make like a Spotify playlist and then send it out. Be like, this is the Gamblers workout playlist, man. I got to find a song that's
Yeah.
complete silence though, because one of the linebackers, he was like, I don't need music to work out. I don't listen to music. And I was like, you are a psychopath and I can't wait to see what you do on the field. But
Yep.
question number 4, who is the biggest inspiration in your life that isn't an athlete, like Michael Jordan or LeBron,
Yeah. You said that isn't an athlete?
isn't an athlete, is not.
Um, I would say my mother. Just off of everything that she's been through. She was diagnosed with cancer about a year and a half ago. And she got that all out of her body. Thank God.
That's
And
great.
yeah, man, it was tough, man, seeing her go through all that. But she's my rock, man. And she's a warrior, and everything she does, it's always with purpose. And that's one of the biggest things she taught me was, anything you're gonna do, do it with purpose. It doesn't matter if you're walking. You better walk with purpose. So I'm always just like, my mom. I do everything for her, man. And, I respect her so much. Just everything she's done for me. So I'd say my mom.
Well, you're talking to a big old mama's boy right here. And I absolutely love that answer. And your mom is a warrior. That is awesome. I did not know that. And that is fantastic. This is a good interview. All right. So when we get to the end of the interview, we call it the end zone. And when we reach the end zone, I hand the floor over to you, because we do this to promote the league, to promote our network, but most importantly, to promote you as a player and a person. So I hand the floor over to you. If you have a message to Gamblers fans, shout outs you want to give, or a brand that you're repping that you want to talk about, this is your time. The floor is yours, man.
Really, I just want to, say thanks for, having me on here. First of all, as far as, out to the Gamblers, the fans and everything, it's gonna be a fun year. And just know that all the players are putting in a lot of tremendous work, and they're taking care of their bodies and making sure that they're going to be prepared to go out there and put on the best show that we can, and be able to win football games and have fun, and do it for you guys, because I know it means a lot to you guys as well. Spending your time watching the games, traveling. So, it's going to be a fun year, and I can't wait to get out there and start playing ball. And, that's it, man. I'm ready to go. I'm looking forward to it. So that's all I got.
Well, I'm absolutely looking forward to it as well. Like I said earlier, I will be there week 1. I'm not sure if I'll get to be on the field or not. We'll see. Yeah. But I am so excited to see you guys. It's been a long time since the Gamblers have stepped on the field, and I think there was just a lot left on the field. There was a lot left to show, and there's a lot of new guys, and I'm very excited. I'm very excited to see you out there, man. So thank you so much for coming on the show. This has been an absolute blast. I'm glad you got back on social media just enough to get my message and to post some sweet videos of you throwing the ball. If anybody wants to see that, go check out the USFL Network YouTube, subscribe to it. The first short that I posted, my brother posted a few. First one I posted was of Terry Wilson practicing throwing the ball. And I actually started an entire series where I have like 9 players workout videos on there now, because I saw yours. It inspired me. So thank you so much for just being you, man. Really, really great.
No, man, that's awesome, man. Keep doing what you're doing, man. It's awesome. Yeah, man, that's great. I'm glad you're doing that, man, and giving guys the recognition they need, and just doing your job.
That's what I do, man. I do this because I love it. I'm not making a lot of money. I'm not making any, but I do this because I love it. It's a fun time. Yeah. And thank you so much for coming on, being yourself, a little vulnerable, talking about your mom. It's fantastic to see, and made my night. So thank you. And to all the Gamblers fans out there, thank you so much for tuning in. This has been Gamblers Table Talk with Ace. I'm Ace. And thank you again to Terry Wilson for jumping on. You might be seeing him on the field come April. Who knows? Right under center. I'm excited. All right. Y'all have a great night.
I'm in the big leagues. Thought they don't miss me. Ballin' like Htown. Hey, feeling like Whitney. I need a bag, bruh. Send it through quickly.